Say what you will about fate or destiny. It sure seems that the baseball gods somehow smile upon the Royals. Hitting, pitching, or wizardry on the bases, this team simply finds a way.
Kansas City Royals are writing this magical postseason story.
They conquer by committee, and in Game 2, when the Royals needed someone to step up, Kane was able.
Kane, he's done it again. Camden Yards, silent.
Tonight, Baltimore walks into the Lions' den down 0-2. But they fear not the task before them.
Seems like a normal day at the office to us. We got to go out and play a big league game.
In the eyes of these spirited Orioles, they are not 2 games from elimination, but rather 2 games from drawing the series even. 29 years they've waited for this chance, and they've come too far to roll over now. Game 3 of the ALCS is next.
They have waited 29 long years to get to this moment. And here they are, 2 wins away from the World Series. The fans filing in, the sun out, kids young and old getting ready for baseball in the ALCS. This has been one of the greatest scenes the postseason the last number of days, but not for Adam Jones in the last 2. Homered in Game 2, hopes for more and help from his lineup here in Game number 3 against his old pal Jeremy Guthrie. While on the other side, the number 3 hitter Lorenzo Cain, the new daddy, has done it all. It's MLB on TBS, the spot you want to be for a crazy Royals-Orioles series. Don't go. Here we go. So yesterday we had a lot of rain. The game was not played clearly. We wait for tonight, and now we get wind. 17 miles an hour, and not from all the towels you'll see waving in the crowd. They expected it could go up another 10. We could have 26, 27 mile-an-hour winds. How will that affect the players? The pitchers will get into that. There will be no effect on this fan base. Like at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, they will be crazy. They've waited a long time, and they're ready for game number 3. Guthrie and Chen getting at it. The Orioles trying to get back into this series. Casey on the head, why not? We welcome you back in where you belong. Our postseason pregame coverage presented by the all-new Chrysler 200. Welcome to MLB on TBS. Casey Stern alongside my usual castmates, Gary Sheffield and Pedro Martinez. And guys, leadership, whether you're up 2-0 or down 0-2, comes into play. Championship team for you with the Marlins. What does this remind you of? Take us back to that moment. What changed everything?
Well, it changed everything with us. We was playing well. At that time, Atlanta Braves was the powerhouse of the Eastern Division. And we wound up beating them 12 out of 18 times. So we knew once we get to the playoffs, we was going to win the National League. And what happened was we had Darren Dalton come into town in a trade, via trade. And Jeff Conine didn't like that too much. So when he got there, what we found out, they brought him in for leadership. We thought they were just bringing in a left-hand bat, which Conine wasn't receptive to that. But what we did as a team, we rallied behind it, and we said, you know, hey, you got to jump on board. This may be our only shot to keep the team here. Darren Dalton came in there, didn't say nothing for 3 straight days. We had masseuse, we had chiropractors, we had everything, and we was losing. He just burst out of nowhere and just had a players-only meeting, blew everybody out the water, cursed everybody out, told we were a bunch of crybabies, a bunch of country club players, and what that did, that brought chemistry to our team, and we got refocused, came to the playoffs, and we met the same team again to beat them.
And you know, Chef, we've seen a lot of the Royals stepping up and talking about leadership. Lorenzo Cain after the winning Game 2 saying, I took it upon myself to be more of a leader, but the swag goes across the board and maybe over the edge. Gerard Dyson, I'm returning to Baltimore for Game 6. No, sir, I don't. And I don't think they, the Orioles, think that we're going back there either. Pedro Martinez, you had a situation just like this, one of the most memorable series ever, 2004 ALCS. Take us back to who said it and what did it make the team do and react afterwards?
Well, I happened to get early to the field to do some running, and I came across one of the newspapers, and in the front page there was Kenny Lofton with a quote saying that we were nice guys, that we looked like idiots, but that nice guys will finish last, and that they were going to sweep us the next day after we'd given up like 19 runs in the previous night. I kind of took it personal. I took it to the clubhouse, cut off the quote, and placed it on the board and called it players' meetings only. And everybody came over, and when they heard me talk, they figured that I was really mad because I used to never talk or say anything about anything else. And when I was so vocal, everybody just kind of took over, and they decided that we were going to prove them wrong, that we were going to win at least one game, and we ended up sweeping the rest of the series over the Yankees.
I don't want to hear all that.
Sorry to Gary, obviously, here. But we talked about this earlier today. The important thing is to remember what? You could say it to the team, you can't say it to the media, right?
Well, yeah, but you got to own it. If you done said it now, Dyson has to own this. He has to play well, and whatever the situation is, he had to get this team over the hump.
Well, the Royals have gotten over the hump. It's taken extra innings a bunch. We'll get more from Pedro and Gary as we go along the way. But as we get ready for Game 3, the Orioles trying to get back in the mix after an extra day off. We send things down to the field to our own Matt Weiner. Matt.
Hey, Casey, you know, the last time the American League Championship Series was played here in Kansas City, there was turf on the field and George Brett manning third base. The turf is long gone. Brett will be wearing a sport coat tonight as a Royals executive, but the Royals are back in the ALCS, and it's the Orioles' job to spoil what has been a non-stop postseason party in their return. In fact, KC is the hottest team in the postseason that anybody's seen since the '07 Colorado Rockies, the last to win their first 6 in a postseason. They were 6 games out of the wild card in September before scrambling back to force a 163rd game playoff, which they rallied to win in 13. They went on to win their wild card game, swept through the NLDS and NLCS in all, winning 21 of 22 on their way to the World Series. The Orioles have to combat that, but you wouldn't know it by watching them earlier today as they got themselves ready for this Game 3. Check out the pitching staff. Playing a little soccer out in left field earlier this afternoon, 5 or 6 hours before game time. That calm should serve them well. What would work even better would be some early runs. The Orioles have not led in this series through 2 games, and they agree that getting to the Royals early would be a great way to start.
It's huge. I think they have a really good bullpen, you know, and it's definitely important for us to jump ahead early.
It's important for us, you know, for sure. I mean, they got good arms just like we do. You know, that's why it's been a hotly contested first 2 games. You know, the talent on these 2 teams is deep, and you know, I think that's why you're seeing us in this position.
Jeremy Guthrie, the longtime Oriole, makes his postseason debut tonight as the Royal starter. He'll be opposed by lefty Wei-Yin Chen, who, among other things, will have to conduct his post-game press conferences in 3 different languages. Casey, you mentioned the weather. No rain today, but plenty of wind down here on the field. Gusts could be well into the 20-mile-per-hour plus range throughout the game. Outfielders here tell me that the wind tends to swirl at Kauffman Stadium because of the way the building is configured. Keep an eye on those outfielders, see how well they're navigating this expansive outfield throughout Game 3.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. You referenced the not leading in this series for the Orioles, 55 straight innings since the Royals have trailed at the end of a frame. Ridiculous. How about the pitching matchup tonight for game number 3? Wei-Yin Chen on one end, 16 wins. Terrific season, very underrated. Jeremy Guthrie hasn't pitched in 18, 19 days. Will that be a factor? We start with Chen. We saw him, Pedro, just about a week ago. Not very effective, but you think he could have the advantage tonight. Why?
Well, I think he has been more active than Guthrie has, and I think the time really affects the pitcher and the feeling on the ball. I think Chen has the advantage because he has been on the mound more recent, and not only that, he only struggled, I think, for 1 true inning against Detroit. Everything else seemed to be fine the first 2 innings. He lost it a little bit in just 1 inning. So I'm not too worried about that.
Now, Chen's numbers against the Royals, not terrible. 6 starts, ERA just north of 4, 22 strikeouts, 5 walks. That's good. But how about against the guys in this lineup? And you look at the names, Billy Butler, Alex Gordon, Eric Hosmer. Gary, that's a lot of experience and positive experience. What does it mean tonight in this matchup against Chen?
Well, he's going to have to pitch it very carefully. You know, the bottom line in this series here, especially the way it's been going in extra innings, these 2 pitchers here is going to have to establish the strike zone very early. You know, I agree with Pedro with Chen. He has the advantage. Guthrie has been out a long time. 3 weeks is a long time. And this guy, he played for Baltimore. So these guys are very familiar with him. He pitched well against them. but don't expect that to happen today.
And Chaney pitched to contact guy, which should help guys in this park versus a bandbox Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Jeremy Guthrie, Pedro, on the other side, has the layoff. He also knows this team. Is that an advantage for his friends, or is it an advantage for the pitcher?
I don't think he's taking it as a friend anymore. If you watch the record in 4 outings, 2-1 and a pretty good ERA, I think it's over the hump of the friendship stuff. I think it's now in a situation where he knows he belongs to Kansas City. He has to put a good job and try to keep his team in the battle for as long as possible. I think it's over the hump, and I think you know, he's ready to pitch against his ex-team.
I talked to the pitching coach of the Kansas City Royals, Dave Island, before the game, and he talked about the fact that he thought Guthrie was competent because of a simulated effort 6 days ago, even though he hadn't pitched in 18-19 games. We hear simulated games all the time, Pedro. What does that mean? Why would a pitcher be more confident based off of a simulated effort?
Well, if you get to feel the ball well, it's important. But as far as facing the guys, you never have the same intensity against your teammates as you do on the opposition. And also, you're not facing the same kind of hitters that you're going to face on the other team. So I would take advantage of the simulated game, but that's not the most important thing. I think the layoff and the chilly wind and the dryness on the field today is going to play a big role.
Well, we know that we'll see Guthrie today, announced before the game. Ned's not going with James Shields on regular rest. He'll get an extra day for Game 5. It'll be Jason Vargas in Game 4 tomorrow. But we got to get you ready for Game 3. We've got the lineups and much more, including why the number 3 is the one you'll want to watch tonight. MLB on TBS from the K.
Let's hide in the attic.
No, in the basement. Why can't we just get in the running car?
Are you crazy? Let's hide behind the chainsaws.
Smart. Yeah, okay.
If you're in a horror movie, you make poor decisions. That's what you do.
This is a good idea. Shh, I'm being quiet. Breathing on me.
If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
We carry more than 150 years of dedication and possibility. We carry the raw materials that build homes, create skylines, and power entire cities. We carry the goods that feed and comfort millions. And everywhere we go, we also carry a nation's pride. On the side of our locomotives, Union Pacific, building America.
The MLB postseason pregame show on TBS, live from the American League Championship Series, is presented by the all-new Chrysler 200. Chrysler, America's import.
During the regular season, Wei-Yin Chen, arguably the most underrated pitcher in the American League. 16 wins, the ERA, the quality starts, all good across the board. The former Oriole across the way, Jeremy Guthrie, hoping that after 18-19 days, he's all good to go at home. His first postseason outing in Game 3. But where will you be the next time history is made? Be there for all the action in 2015. Go to MLB.com/season tickets to reserve your seat today. Who has reserved a seat in the lineup for game number 3? Here we go. Let's start with the Baltimore Orioles. And, Shep, we highlight Steve Pearce before the postseason. All the accolades on what he's done. How about what he hasn't done since and why?
I mean, this guy got to be proud of what he did during the season. He's the reason why they're here. He's one of the reasons why they're here. But to me, it seemed like this situation is getting a little too big for this kid. This kid's starting to press a little bit. Instead of doing the things that you did to get you here, anytime a pitcher see you struggling and swinging at pitches early, they're going to keep going in there until you show them anything different. But when you show emotions and then all of a sudden now you're depressed, it's on another level of depression. And then when you go down to your knees, advantage other team. This situation is getting very big for this kid.
You know what I've learned on this set, to be honest? I got to pause the whole show. The evil nature of great pitchers. Pedro Martinez's smile was like Jack Nicholson in The Joker from the early Batman days, because you drool when you see that and the dugout from another player, you know that you have him, right?
Well, if I'm on the other side, I would say, yes, what the doctor ordered. And if I'm in the jungle and I'm a lion, I would say this is the perfect meal for me. That's just the way I want you to be after I am done with you. And if you show me that, believe me, there's no way I'm going to let you step out of what you're going through. And I'm going to try to actually execute the same pitches and bring over the same frustration that I just gave you for the rest of the series. So I would suggest for him to lift up his face and go on and cheer his team on if he can do anything else.
Like Yasiel Puig last year, you want to do well. You're trying probably too hard, gripping that bat. There's probably an imprint when Pierce is done. On the other side, you are dead right on that. On the Royals side of things, Nori Aoki has been doing everything he can to squeeze out all the ability he has. Pedro, you beat and faced a lot of big-time hitters in your day, but you admit as we watch these games, Aoki would be a tough guy for you to crack, right?
See, this will be a guy that will get me mad. And he'll get me mad because he'll put up a great at-bat against me and make me waste a lot of good pitches like that one. You know, it's hard to face those pesky, really pesky hitters that you make quality pitches that you don't expect to waste, and they make you waste those pitches. It's really hard to face those guys, and before you know it, they flare one to left field or bloop one, or they take the walk, which I hate. I hate to see that from the pesky hitters.
I want to ask you, Shep, about the impact of the rest of the lineup as the crowd behind us getting nutty for Game 3. That number 2 hitter seeing all those pitches since the new construction of Ned Yost's lineup. Look at it, 12-2, double the runs. Why is that one hitter in that 2 spot doing all he can for the 3 and 4 guys like yourself?
Well, I love this player. He's seen 36 pitches in this series. And what that do is it allows the next hitter to see those same pitches and go up there with a better game plan. And not only that, they can go up there and knowing what the umpire is calling. Either he's calling the ball low or he's calling it high. So what that does is it allows me to go in there and zone in on a pitch and drive it out the park.
Now on the other side, Nick Markakis has had great ABs trying to set up Adam Jones, but it hasn't always worked. And Chef, one of the things we've noticed is the approach and the word patience, like the old Guns N' Roses song. Why is that so important? What are you noticing with Adam Jones specifically?
None, he's not patient. And I call patience, patience, patience. As middle of the order guys, the last thing we want to do is be patient. We want to be the heroes. We want to hit the ball out the park and be the big guy on campus. But the opposite applies in the playoffs. You have to go in and tell yourself, I have to set the stage. I'm a third place hitter for a reason. There's nobody on the planet that's going to throw me 3 pitches down the middle of the plate. This pitch here is a setup pitch. He throws the pitch inside, which he's setting him up now. Now you look back away knowing that he's going to go down and away with a breaking ball, which he did. Now all you got to do is look out here and wait for the cookie to come, and bingo. When you get the cookie, don't miss it.
What's the cookie, Pedro? What's that word?
Galleta.
Galleta. Now, on the other side, and the 3 spot is so important to look at. You take a look at the discrepancy between what's happening in the 3-hole with the Orioles' Adam Jones and the other side where Pedro, heroes are born in October, Lorenzo Cain is 1. As a pitcher, what have you noticed about his approach that's maybe much different from Adam Jones? I know they're different kind of players, but what are you seeing with Cain?
Well, what I'm seeing with Cain is a guy that has no ego. He will take whatever I could give him, and whatever they give him, he takes. He takes the ground ball, he takes the walk, he takes the hit by pitch. He does anything that the team asks him to do to try to win the ball game. Adam Jones, I think, is putting too much pressure on himself and acting like a guy that's a no panic guy. If I see him in a 3-2 count and see the way he's swinging and no walks in the score, I'm going to say this is a no-panic guy. I'm not afraid to bounce a curveball, and with such a good catcher like Salvador Perez that's behind the plate and is going to block it, I wouldn't be afraid. I would be confident enough to throw that breaking ball on the ground, and I know he's going to swing at it.
You know, the other thing we're seeing is the team element. The aforementioned Aoki, he comes out for a faster runner late in games. Gerard Dyson, when Dyson comes in, Chef, he goes to center, and that great center fielder, La Jirafa Negra, right?
Yeah, La Jirafa Negra.
I'm learning on this set, is grooving to right field. Chef, why is that 1 team element, and 2, why is that so difficult as an outfielder?
It's very difficult. I talked to all the great outfielders, especially center fielders. The last thing they want to do is move to the corner outfield spot, especially in the middle of a game. These guys do it willingly and making great plays during the game. Then all of a sudden, Aoki comes out of base runner for Dyson to get faster on the base pass. Then he goes into center field, and Lorenzo Cain goes in right field and continue to make great plays.
And give Ned Yost a lot of credit for the team element. Mike Moustakas 4 home runs in a postseason, and then he bunts to set up the win in game number 2. They'll do anything except cheer the Orioles, that is. Much more to get you ready for game 3. MLB on TBS from the K. Get ready. The Royal fans at the K get an opportunity to hear their players introduced in an ALCS game. Let's take a listen.
Batting 9th, the third baseman, number 8, Mike Moustakas. Pitching, warming up in the left field bullpen, number 11, Jeremy Guthrie.
All right, the Royals getting introduced, getting ready for Game 3 of the ALCS. We'll have our final thoughts. MLB on TBS coverage continues. Don't move.
With a chill in the air, this is definitely October baseball.
He leaps and he makes the catch.
Another home run. Unbelievable.
It is time for Game 3 of the American League Championship Series. The Royals, the Orioles, Chen, Guthrie. It's next.